Hello everyone, Larry Satchwell here. August 15th. That means it's Dana's birthday, my second born, and time for a garden walkthrough, garden update. This is my Hugo bed. I'm getting ready to put it asleep for the winter. Uh, Hugo beds were a big deal a few years ago. You don't see people talking about them right now, but that's when you put logs and branches and leaves and stuff in the bottom and it slowly decomposes. Well, this bed has sunken several inches, so I put a lot of manure on here a few months ago. It pretty much decomposed, so I tilled it in the other day. But here's a log right here. I don't know if I can't even penetrate that. So there's still branches, and the logs really haven't deteriorated that much. Maybe that's why it's out of style. The thing it does do, if you're buying raised bed soil at the big box stores, that stuff is really expensive. So putting that stuff in the bottom and putting the soil on top does save you a lot of money. I saw a meme the other day where a lady was enjoying her $500 tomato, a homegrown tomato that she could have bought for a couple of bucks or less at the organic food market. This is that hay that we had purchased earlier this year that was too hot to store. One of my friends in Canada actually burnt down his barn by putting up wet hay. So we got it out of the barn, put it in this big pile here, and it's been decomposing all summer long. And it is right at the stage where it's great to put a real thick bed of mulch on here. This is an old Ruth Stout method. Ruth Stout was one of organic gardening's ladies to go to. She had a deep mulch system where she never tilled her garden. She put layers and layers of old hay and straw like this on it. By the way, this is a great time to put wheat straw on your garden if you're putting it away, because it'll have time to decompose and you'll have time to pick up all of the wheat that sprouts over the winter. You'll be able to pull up the wheat real easily that comes through it, and then by next spring it'll be ready to use as a great mulch. I've already tilled up this bed. I'm in the process of tilling up this bed. Let's go through the garden. I'll show you my successes and my failures. Right here is my potato box. I've got my hoe and my rake in here from working on those two other beds. Got a lot of weeds growing up in it, but I'll take care of those. Got some mushrooms growing up in it too. Right over here is where I've been throwing these weeds, and Karen has been putting some manure on. So there's weeds, manure, weeds, manure, weeds, manure. I can't turn this over yet because it just hasn't decomposed enough, but I'm probably going to leave this pile right here and just let it decompose for the next several years. I don't trust it because I don't think it's going to get hot enough to kill those weed seeds, and the weeds I pulled up had a lot of seeds on them. But it'll be a good area for the canna lily to move into, and I'll cut it back a little bit from my potato patch here so I can get the potatoes. None of the potatoes, by the way, came up that I thought would come up if you're a long-time viewer. When I harvested those, I know I didn't get all of them, but there still might be some that come up. So I've got some yellow squash and some zucchini going on over here. Not looking too bad. It's got a lot of blooms on it, but it also has some bugs on it. Here is the bread and salt I had left over from last year. It didn't do well last year, and for whatever reason, it's not doing well this year, so I will not plant bread and salt in my garden again. May work in yours. I spray this daily with this 3-in-1 organic spray, but as you can see, it hasn't helped this squash. Let me see what this is down here. Yeah, it's a zucchini. So these are both squash. The zucchini doesn't look like it's going to make it. One thing I did learn from trying to grow vertical is that these small tomato cages like that do not work for the zucchini and the squash. So I've moved them into these bigger ones. I'm still trying to make this work. So far, not so much luck. This is my year-round lettuce. I don't plant enough of this. I just can't get it right. And I think this was the 42-day tomato from Seeds and Such. It didn't make it either. But I've been spraying that organic stuff on this too. This tomato The tag is gone. But I think it's a Celeste. So I had another tomato here that died. So I've got one that's going great. I'm going to change out that cage. I would put it there to protect it from the chickens. These are bush cucumbers that are growing a lot bigger than I expected them to, but they've got some blooms on them. We should get some more cucumbers for our salads. And this is straight 8 cucumbers, still not thriving, I shouldn't say thriving, but still living, and still has some cucumbers coming on it. There's some blooms right there. This is the bed I'm going to move the strawberries into from the hill. They're still having a hard time recovering up there. Debating about whether I want to put another board on top of here, and if I do I want to line it with the tin like I did with the others? I just haven't decided. But when I do get ready to move those strawberries down here, I'll put a thick bed of, I'll use pine needles for that, because the pine needles don't deteriorate nearly as fast as anything else, and those crazy Georgia jumping worms don't seem to like it, so it'll stay really well as a mulch. Turning around here to Ethan's flower garden, I've cut back most of the bee balm. It just stopped blooming. My petunias are starting to bloom, and there's a bee that just went into there. Speaking of that, I can't tell if that's I think that's a bumblebee. Speaking of that, Florida has joined the great pollinator census this year with North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia. So I'll put the date here and a link down below if you want to do the pollination. I think it's coming up on the 23rd, something like that. Anyway, I know it's between now and my next update. I've been trying to capture some pictures of birds taking baths here. I have to add water to that every day. Here's a zucchini that's doing really well over here. So a few blooms down there. Oh, I think I saw a small zucchini. Here's some more bee balm that's going to bloom before the end of the year. This is my failed tomato patch. I still have a lot of peppers coming on. They love this heat, but I have had to water here the last few days. We haven't had rain for 10, 12 days. I missed cutting the okra back a couple of days, and so you can see it's done. We're still eating on this year-round lettuce, and this is a Thai basil. And the reason I planted this Thai basil is because I was watering my plants in the basement and spilt some and got the entire packet wet, and I knew it was ruined. I like this basil. It's got some beautiful leaves, beautiful flowers on it. I'll probably plant that again in the spring. The zinnias here are looking great. That's why one of the reasons I cut down the bee balm is because there's plenty of other flowers around here for the hummingbirds. I planted at least a dozen sunflowers in here, and only 3 came up. Tim, Mildred's still alive, and so is Goldie. They're right down here. They follow me around like puppies in the morning. Turning to the perennial garden, I do have ragweed. That's going to bloom here beautifully. This is flame amarist. It didn't have very good flowers on it. And I put this one over here, and I thought it was dead, but it's coming back. Some more volunteer zinnias. I had to prop this one up, but it looks like I should just cut it off. My $1 yellow echinacea from Walmart, they're doing great. The other echinacea, I don't cut the seed heads off because I love watching the finches go after it. My ideal plan, if I get to it, is to bring some organization, more organization to this hill. I'd like to build up this area and make it flatter, put a stone wall right there, tidy up all my echinaceas into one area and kind of divide them with stone from the black-eyed Susans here. They are very, very aggressive. They will take over everything. My Joe Pye weed, I've seen hummingbirds on this and a lot of pollinators. I still haven't figured out what this is going on when I can't, I've used the magnifying glass. I can't see aphids or bugs or anything in there. Just don't know, and there's no place to ask anymore. I could take it to the extension office. I love the way this flower fills in the empty spaces. It comes back every year. This is the 3rd year it's come back. I do have a foxglove coming up here on the stones. I'm not sure how much dirt's in there. I may try to move that this fall. I was able to clean up behind these flowers and get the uh, crabgrass out of there, but you can see I've got a lot of crabgrass blooming right there that I need to deal with. Over here, I got to tell you, I've been very disappointed with this preen weed preventer. I'm going to zoom in here. You can see this was sprinkled heavily, heavily with the stuff, and that was bare ground right there, and we've got all these weeds coming up. Uh, the Nicotiana is still blooming. One of my viewers graciously told me I was pronouncing it wrong. I do that all the time. I should have taken Latin in high school instead of 3 years of German, because all I remember is Muck Schmel, and I think that might be from Hogan's Heroes. Anyway, I was at Lowe's the other day. They had a broken bag of mulch. I buy my mulch in bulk too, but this was 50% off, so I did try to put a little bit of mulch up there to cover up some of those weeds. But my balloon flowers that I've got growing up by the basement now, I took them out from under the lights and put them in natural light. Several of them are thriving and several of them are dying. So it's just a crapshoot of who's going to make it, but hey, they were free. So all of the yarrow has pretty much come and gone. I'll take you up there as I leave, but that's a lantana that's been coming back. The butterflies and bees love it. I'll leave you today by walking down the upper part of the garden, but this is a daily task, getting up this water lettuce. I have to do it every day. The fish don't eat the water lettuce, but they do eat the water hyacinth. So that's why this one looks so bad. It's dead. But I get a net full every morning so I can put food in here. And by the afternoon or the next day, I do it all over again. I do pull out the parrot weed, put that back in there. But it makes a great mulch. So this enormous pile here, this is yesterday's batch that I pulled out. And I'll just put this on top of that to add to the mulch. And then I can feed the fish. Well, here are those plants. I make a quick stop here on my way up to the upper garden. Here are those plants that are doing well, the balloon flowers. So this is my nursery. I've had plants that look kind of sickly, so I bring them up here. This water in the bucket is from a dehumidifier, and so I can water everything and keep an eye on it. So as you can see, some of the plants up here are doing better than others. This yarrow right here is really coming back. It's blooming again. That's stuff I cut back earlier. Some of these aren't doing so well. The sprinkler doesn't quite reach up here, and some days I forget to water them. This is the plant I'm going to use for my pollinator count. This thing is full of bees every afternoon and butterflies. This is the other basil. I like the color, I think, of the Thai basil a little better than this. I think that Thai basil is going to be on my list for planting. So, as I said earlier, I want to organize. I've got these false sunflowers right here. I'd like to get those isolated, maybe see if I can divide those. All of this I've kind of started putting in an area where it's all together. I'd kind of like to make a river of that somewhere down the line here. I've got big plans. Always have big plans. Always run out of time or energy. It's a butterfly bush I bought from the nursery. Looks like it has some mating bugs on here. This I don't know if this is PG or not, but I'm hoping I can open up some of these pods. Looks like I need to get some of that organic spray on here. It was blooming a couple of days ago. Had little orange blooms on it. I did buy some milkweed that I'll be putting in jugs in winter planting. My turtle head's doing well. I might buy some more of those. The Growers Outlet here in Loganville just opened up, or is opening up on Monday, or the 17th. That's Saturday. They're opening up on the 17th, so they will be really busy. Anyway, that's it. That's all. Thanks for watching. And I'll see you again in the garden on September 1st.